So, welcome to Dev2Be. In this episode, we have Samit Saini. He's the IT Office 365 Solution Specialist, and who is who's the one who has personally inspired Satya Nadella. So, and all of us, of course. So, we'll let him tell his inspirational story to all of us. And hey, Samit, thank you so much for accepting our invite, and we're honored to have you here on Dev2Be.
Thank you for having me. I'm always honored to come on and join, and if it helps one person, I'm always happy because it's a crazy journey that I'm very lucky that I'm part of, and I never thought that in my career, in my lifetime, that I'll be speaking to a lot of people and who wants to hear from me, and that's for me is I'm still pinching myself sometimes because where I was a couple of years ago, where I'm doing what I'm doing now, I'm really blessed. So again, thank you for having me, and it's just great to be here.
Thank you so much. So Dev2Be is it's a message that you want to give to the current tech enthusiasts and everyone out there who are trying to start their journey as a techie or a person, and also about telling your journey and how you went through it. So it's a little cliche question, but about your inspirational stories, like changing from security officer to being an IT DevOps person. So how did that journey happen? What are the journey between these 2 points?
Yeah, so I left school in a really early age. I didn't do really good at school. I failed most of my exams, and I thought, I'll follow my dad's footsteps and work at Heathrow Airport. He's been working there for 32 years, and I thought Heathrow is such a small. If you haven't been into Heathrow Airport, it's like a small city, and it's an amazing place to be. No 2 days is the same. So as soon as I left school, I went to join and work as a security officer at Heathrow Airport. I've been working there for 15 to 16 years now at Heathrow Airport, and it's been an amazing journey as a security officer. So my day-to-day job as a security officer was so when you're flying through Heathrow, any airport, you see someone like a security officer who would ask you for your boarding card, your ticket. They will check your bags. If you leave any liquids, laptops and iPads, I'll be the one who will be either rejecting your bag or searching your bag. If you come through the body scanner, I'll be searching you. And that was my day-to-day job. Now, it was for me, I felt comfortable. I didn't have to have too much. I didn't have to do too much, as in. But I had to, the main purpose for my job was to make everyone safe when they're flying, and I loved what I loved about Heathrow as well. There's so many things I love about Heathrow, but one is where I met my wife. We've been married for 10 years now, and when I first met her, I said that's the person I want to get married to, and a month later we got engaged, and a year later we got married, and that's why I've got such a close attachment to Heathrow. Now, how I got to use PowerApps while I was working as a security officer was, we had a business change manager, and her name was Komal. And she said, look, we have Office 365 available, not just for the people that work in the offices, but also for anyone who works at Heathrow. So that was fantastic, because we didn't have a company or we didn't have a company email address for security officers. We would use our personal email address. So something like, this is not my email address, I'm just letting you know, but you had like hellokitty@hotmail.com to send email to your manager. But now we got the Outlook to have samit.saini@heathrow.com. So that's fantastic. So now she said, you know what, just go out and look at all these applications that are available. So I knew about Microsoft Word, I knew about Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint, But we had all these new applications that I'd never seen or heard of before. Teams, Power Apps, Power BI, Microsoft Flow at the time. Now it's changed to Power Automate. So you know what I did? As soon as I finished my shift, I finished my shift about 9 p.m. I got home, and as soon as the kids went to bed and my wife went to bed, I straight away went on my computer. I opened up the desktop and I went through and looked at all the applications, and I went to Power Apps. There was a blog that says you can create an app in 5 minutes. So I don't read many blogs. I have trouble reading and writing, so because I'm dyslexic, so I find it trouble reading. But the blog itself said it'll take you 5 minutes to read. So I was like, okay, doesn't take you that long to read. Okay, perfect. So I followed the steps, and the steps were so easy to create this app. But all I had to do was open up an Excel spreadsheet, create the columns, name it. So I named it like name, date, comments 1, comments 2. Then I had to save it. I saved it, and I saved it into the OneDrive because that's what it's asking me to do. So I named the file. I named it as test app. So I put that into that OneDrive. Then I open up Power Apps, and it says, okay, create from data. Okay, so I said Excel is the data, so I connected Excel from OneDrive. And then I had a whole list of options of Excel files. And I didn't have many options, only had that test app Excel spreadsheet. So I pressed the tick button, and it says create app. So I pressed that button, create app, and literally within seconds, this app was getting generated. And all I can see now is this app format. It had the label, name, date, comment 1, comment 2. It had text boxes. It had a tick box to submit. And I was like, wow, okay. I'm getting happy. So what do I do with it? Okay, so I started reading it more. It said I have to save the app now, name the app. So I saved it. So I named it. I have to go to my phone now. I have to go to Power Apps now. Download Power Apps on my phone on the App Store or the App Store. And then when I did that, I signed in, and the app that I just saved on my laptop is on my phone. So all I have to do now is add the name, add the comments, add the date, add comments 2, press the submit button, which is a tick button, and the data went straight from my phone straight to the database, the Excel spreadsheet I just created. And I'm like, wow, why doesn't no one know this at Heathrow? First time in my life I got smart, because 95% of people use apps, right? And I'm one of them now. I feel like I've created an app, and I'm like, wow, cool, okay. So what can I do with this now? What can I literally do? And I'm like, I'm more encouraged to learn. And this is like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm learning more and more every single day. Then I decided, do you know what? At Heathrow, we use a lot of Excel spreadsheets, but let me convert something that I always wanted to do. And we had a language book at Heathrow Airport. Now, so when you're traveling at Heathrow, we're an international airport, but we don't speak as many languages. You know, there's people, security officers who speak 1 or 2 languages, right? Now, this book helps us translate to our passengers why you cannot take liquid laptops and iPads. Okay. And sometimes they don't understand English, so we use this book, big, massive book, 132 pages. We cannot take it with us anywhere. It has to be back on the machine. Okay. So, I said, I'm going to convert this book into an app. So I took the book home, and I scanned every single picture. So when I finished my shift, I went home. I went to my printer scanner. I scanned each page, transferred the pictures into the app, and it was so easy. So how you add pictures into PowerPoint is exactly what I'm doing with the app. I'm just adding images, and all I'm doing now, I've added all the images. I added a button to say, okay, if I click in Hindi or Punjabi, it will take you to those pages, those images, and that's it. And I'm like, okay, I'm more excited now, I'm more learning now. So what else can I do? Okay, how easy it was to add pictures, I'm gonna add videos. So I asked my friends, I said, in your own language, could you please make a little video to say what is allowed at Heathrow and what it isn't? And it did. And then I was like, okay, now I'm more excited. What else should I do? Okay, I added Microsoft Translator into the app. And now when you type it, it will translate the language. But I thought, okay, what's next? I'm learning more. I added the audio book. I added the audio, so when you type it, it will translate the language. But also when you play the audio, it will speak it. So now I'm like, okay, I'm done now. I'm happy to present this to my manager. So I went to work. Then this took me 3 to 4 days, and I took the app straight to my manager and said, "What do you think about this app?" And they go, he goes, "Who created this?" And I said, "I did." And he goes, "How much would it cost us?" I said, "It won't cost us anything. It's part of the Office 365, and it won't cost us anything." And he goes, "How much coding is involved?" And I said, "No coding is involved. Let me show you." So I said, "Book me from the machines for 30 minutes, and I'll show you how I'll break the app apart, show you how easy it was." As soon as I showed him how easy it was, he said, "I need to introduce you to the business change manager, who's Komal."
Okay.
As soon as I showed her the app, she goes, "Samit, would you like to present this to each department? I would take you off the machines for 1 hour, once a week or a few days, and we would like you to present this." And then that's what I did. And then a month later, she said, "Samit, we got an opening in our department in IT. Would you like to join us for 3 months and see what you can do with PowerApps?" And I said to her, I was really honest with her, and I said to her, "Look, that's really gracious of you, but I'm not good with, I haven't done well in my educations. I'm good at grades to work in IT. I feel I have trouble reading and writing. And she goes, 'You know what, Sam? I'm not looking at your resume. I'm not looking at your background. I'm looking at the person who's self-taught, and who, you're the only one who's using PowerApps, and we'd like you to come without, doesn't matter your degrees or anything like that. We just want you to show what you can do with PowerApps at Heathrow." And that gave me more motivation. So I said, "Yep, okay, 3 months in IT, brilliant." And one thing I'd like to share, I don't share this often, but I used to, so when I drive with my kids and my wife to past this building where I'm working now, I used to say to them, one day, your dad's going to work in that office. And even even when I did my work experience, I was doing my work experience where I'm working now. Age of 15, I went there to do my work experience and we do that for 2 weeks. And I said, one day I want to work here. And now I'm working where I said I wanted to work. So it was really good to have that in mind. So I'm working there now. I'm working in IT, and then she gave me a challenge. She goes, "Samit, what else can PowerApps to do? You did a language app now. What else can you do?" And I said, "I've got an idea. I've been using PowerApps with Excel. Let's remove Excel from Heathrow. Let's bring a project that we use paper processes that go straight to Excel." And a lot of things we do is paper processes. So the first thing we worked on was this special assistant app. Now, we at Heathrow, managers would print out a piece of paper, about 5 or 6 pieces of papers, go to one terminal to another, and do a checklist. Do we have the right equipment? Do the passengers have the right messages? Is the chairs cleansed, or is it working correctly? All those things on a piece of paper. Then end of the shift, they would take the piece of paper and take it to the admin person, who would, end of the month would type in every single information, up to 2,000 pieces of paper a month, into an Excel spreadsheet. Then create a bar chart or pie chart to say, "Look, this is it. Doesn't matter if we lost any equipment or not. We'll find that out end of the month, or we will load stuff." So I thought, you know what? Let me get the managers involved, because it's their app, and let's see, how would you want your app to be like? And I'm not learning about PowerApps now. I'm learning about stakeholder management, voice of the customer, and I didn't know those tools that I'm using now is helping me build this app, because I'm not using this app. So the app was made within 2 weeks. the great thing was the managers were happy because they felt that we're listening to them. We're not forcing a tool on them, but they are the ones who are building this app. And we saved up to 5,000 sheets of paper a month building this app for them.
Yeah.
And then the more I shared people the benefits, the more people wanted to. Yeah. And the great thing is that I always, because I was so lucky to learn something new, I wanted my colleagues to know that if I can do it, they can do it too. Yeah. We had an IT department that were building apps internally. We used to pay £66,000 externally to ask someone to build apps for us at Heathrow. And now, with me learning this, I said, you know what? If you have got an idea, you can build it. You can make it into reality now. If you've got an app idea, you can make it into reality. So I was teaching people who are security officers, I was teaching people who are human resources. I said, anything that you feel like you don't feel like I teach my kids this as well. Don't say the word can't. The word is how can I? And now we've got this possibility with these new technologies like PowerApps, Power BI, Power Automate, the whole Power Platform stack can make your ideas into reality now. And that's what my purpose is that I'm not going to just build apps for people. I want to show people that they can build their ideas and bring them into reality as well. And from there, we teach up to hundreds of people. We had school kids that come over to Heathrow. We teach them about Power Apps and how they can build Power Apps as well, how easy it can be. And these kids are teaching me stuff because they're learning Python at school. And I'm like, wow, okay, amazing, amazing. And I'm always, the whole thing is amazing. But you know what this technology has done for me is give me a purpose to keep on learning and keep on going and showing people that, you know what, you can do it too. So if I can do it, then anybody can do it. So that's my journey from there, from where I was to now, and I'm going to keep learning and moving on to learning more new stuff to share with people. So because the aim is not to hold information or knowledge. If you can help people with your knowledge, then that's the greatest thing you can do. I want people to be more curious. I want more people to be more curious and not think about, okay, if I learn this, it's going to take me to A to Z. Just love being curious, because you just don't know where it will take you. If you want to learn something, you can learn it. We're in a world now that all the information's in the palm of our hands. Yeah. And so, this technology has not given me just the tools to build apps. It has given me a tool to keep on learning and a purpose to do more. And I'm always blessed and I'm always grateful for that. So again.
That's really cool. Like, it's really inspiring that you chose growth over accepting the facts that there are there, and cutting down all the manual work to making it easier for the people to work in a better efficient way. That's totally inspiring. But how did you what was your inspiration for doing it? It was just that you wanted it to be more better in times, or what was it? What made you think of learning more?
So a couple of years ago, before PowerApps, I suggested this idea about the language book as well. And many people have tried it before, but they said it costs too much money and it can't be done because of A, B, and C. And so I accepted it. And the idea goes to the graveyard because someone smarter than you, someone who's in a high position than you, tells you it can't be done. So my inspiration is, when someone tells you it can't be done, be the first person to say it can be done. My inspiration is just to, I've been told many times in my life, you won't be this, you won't be that, you can't do this, you can't do that. So my inspiration is just to keep going, just to tell those people that it can be done, and some people take it to heart when they say things like it can't be done, and then they leave it, and they never become what they were meant to become. Okay. Yeah. And so that's my inspiration, is to keep going, and I don't know where it's going to take me, But I just I want people to know that the inspiration comes from you, not from others. You need to know your why. My why is my kids and my wife, and so if I'm gonna do anything, it'll be for them. So yeah.
That is so sweet. That's really inspiring and that's really thoughtful and sweet. I am really moved with the thoughts of yours. And like, what is that? Like, you made an impact by adding by making the app and being in the infrastructure and like trying to do more and better things and making people learn. So, how did you get the acknowledgement from Microsoft itself?
I reached out. So we use an amazing platform. We've got so many things out there, social media, right? And when I never used to be on Twitter, and I used to think people go on Twitter to follow celebrities and so on. So when I was learning PowerApps, I did want to learn more, and there's something I had so many questions, and there's blogs, but sometimes I wanted interaction with people that were also using PowerApps, right? So I went on Twitter, used hashtag PowerApps, and when I used hashtag PowerApps, I saw all these people talking about PowerApps. I felt great. There's a community out there. So I approached this amazing person called Brian Dang, who used to be a teacher, who now who works for Microsoft as a project manager. And I reached out to him. I said, I needed some help. And he helped me. He spent like 3:00 in the morning. He would, because he's an American time. I didn't care what time it was. I'm learning something new from someone who's so great. And then people, they heard about the work I was doing with PowerApps at Heathrow. They knew my background, and this is where, they said, "Would you like to do a show and tell and see what have you done with PowerApps at Heathrow?" And this is how it all started. And when they said that you're going to meet the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, I was like really, really okay. I said, okay, that's amazing. I told everyone at home, and I said, look, I'm gonna go. They're gonna fly me. I've never been to Las Vegas, and they're gonna fly me there, and they're gonna I'm going to meet the CEO of Microsoft, and I get to show the work I've done. No one believed me, except for my wife. No one believed me at home. They thought I was going to Las Vegas to get drunk and go partying and stuff. I didn't know myself that Microsoft had events and stuff like that, so I didn't expect too much about it. I thought it was just going to be like a one-to-one or a few people. But when I got to Las Vegas, the guy who's escorting us and showing us around said, that T-Mobile arena? That's where you're going to be. And I'm like, I was like, oh my God. So they said it's going to be around 20,000 people. Around 20,000. Okay, I was nervous then, looking at the arena, telling me how many people there might be there. I got even more nervous. And they said, don't worry, because I never met Satya Nadella before, but he's such a nice and down-to-earth person. And that gave me a bit of confidence. And so when they said that I'm going to be on stage with him, I thought, oh wow. And then he was, and then it was great. It was great. Obviously it's life changing because not only I got to meet the CEO of Microsoft, but I'm on stage where I'm good at one-to-one. I feel like I'm an introvert, so I was so. And I got back to the hotel, and then my dad called me up. He said, "I saw you. I'm really proud of you." And to me, everything that was the best moment for me.
I can totally relate to that. That's when your parents acknowledge the fact that you did something and they're proud of, that's so wholesome. It's actually, very much amazing. I can totally tell he must be so proud of you. That's great. So
And that's how
yeah, sorry.
no, I was gonna say that this is how it's all come about. It feels like everything's happening organically. You know, when you love learning or when you love doing what you're doing, everything comes into place. And so, that's what I tell everyone. It's just that just love what you do, and it will just fall into place. And for me, I didn't know, there was no expectation. My happiness was just learning that bit of curiosity, or learning that blog for 5 minutes. And I thought the happiness was just building that one app, and it just follows from there. So
That's absolutely amazing. Then, you're from a non-tech background, and you must have faced challenges during the production process as well. Sometimes it did not work out, maybe. So, how did you went through that? How did you took that challenge and keep yourself going and motivated and consistent with this thing?
I see. Before I got into IT, I used to run away from challenges. I accepted it. That there's things like that. But learning about IT, and this is what keeps me motivated, is people asking me questions. When I first built apps, there was questions. Then when I came to the IT department, I had loads of questions from the execs to say, Samit, you could get hit by a bus. What would happen to the apps? I thought that was a great question. So I was like, okay, how do we make this app more easier for people to build and to look after? Okay, great. Okay, Samit, data's on Excel. What if something happens to the Excel spreadsheet? Then that made me more motivated to learn what other databases are out there. Excel, SharePoint is not a database, but it can store data, and SQL, and that keeps me motivated because people ask me questions, and that keeps me keep learning more. I don't have all the questions. I'm at the time, and people forget this, even myself, is that when I was learning about PowerApps, I'm learning to learn. I haven't learned since I left school. I mean, I learned at work to do the job that I need to do. But that's just a generic learning kind of thing. But what I'm learning now, I'm learning how to learn. What's the best way for me to learn? And visually, because I keep emphasizing this, but because I'm dyslexic, reading doesn't help me, but visually helps me. So I'm watching YouTube literally every single day, and I still do it since the day I opened that blog. I'm reading every single day to learn more. Watching every single day to learn more, to answer those questions. And I love those questions because we cannot say, I said this before, when someone says this can't be done, I just want to learn and say it can be done. There wasn't, at the time when I was building PowerApps, there wasn't a structure in place. Apps built, production, and so on. But when people ask questions, I love to say, okay, we don't have it in place now, but great question. Let's put it in place. I'm loving to learn, and I don't think that if someone says this is not the right way, I don't go and say, okay, go in a corner and cry about it. I say, tell me why. Why? Because I want to learn your point of view. I'm accepting a lot of things now where I accept people's point of view because my point of view might not be the right way, and that's what keeps me motivated. I love learning from other people. I get inspired by other people and by their knowledge to keep me motivated. Never accept that there's only one point of view. Accept there's many point of views that can help you, grow, learn, and make spoken to who built an app. The moment they say that all have that wow moment. It's like, wow. And that's the greatest feeling you'll ever get, is when you share your knowledge with people and they have that wow moment and just take off. It's amazing. That's what people I've seen at Heathrow is they just, once you spend time with them in the beginning and they have that app idea and you show them and how to build it, they just take off. They take off and they just fly. And we've seen it so many times at Heathrow where people have been promoted because they're using the technology. This platform, they're using this amazing platform. There are people who become consultants. who learn this platform. And so
Yeah.
when you see people learning, they want to take off. And then the great thing about Andrew Gray is that his background, again, is not technology. He got promoted using the technology to another position. Then he wanted to build a organic learning for that department. So from using Power Platform, doing show and tells, doing monthly sessions, it became organic. We don't have a centralized IT team to look after apps or build apps for people. We wanted people to be just like Andrew Gray, to go out in each department and build organically and grow organically. So those wow moments grow organically as well. Is that, how that quote that says if you give a fish to someone, they live for a day. You teach them, they can live forever. Same with people like Andrew Gray, and now he's a successful person moving forward. So what his career was as a security officer is now, it's grown more as well. And that's the greatest feeling is that those people are learning and growing themselves. And that's what it is.
Yeah, it's absolutely true that knowledge makes you grow, but sharing that knowledge empowers you and empowers everyone around you, and it's totally motivating of how you did it. It's absolutely amazing. And what was your inspiration from your family or your friends that that made you make that dream come true? Obviously I've shared it, but a little bit more about, if you wanna.
So for me, I always the biggest motivation from family is my kids. I'm gonna have to be that example for them somehow, somewhere. And I am always telling them, just don't follow people, follow yourself. If someone, don't say that I haven't seen someone done this. I said, just be the first. I want them to see their dad and say, look, my dad didn't give up. He didn't give up on learning. Yes, he didn't do well at school, but that didn't stop him. And that's my motivation. Is since I had my kids, they're the biggest motivation for me. Family is always going to be there, but for me is I learned so much from my kids because they see you, and then you just want to make sure you become better for them, a better version of yourself for them. So they can look back and say, you know what, if the thought comes in their mind to say, oh, I want to give up, they say, you know what, Dad didn't give up. He's success is not just about money. Success is about what you love doing.
Yeah.
And if you can find that, then money will come forward. But for me, it was never about money. If it was, I would have left Heathrow a long time ago. But I love what I do, and that's what I want my that's what the motivation I get from my family as well, is that I want my kids to know that it's not just about money. You just love what you do, and I found what I love doing, and I want my kids to know that they're my motivation. Mainly they're my motivation to say, just love what you do. I'm not gonna force them to be doctors, lawyers, I just want them to be happy with themselves. And when they're happy with themselves and they're happy what they're doing, and I'll be happy. I'm always going to be proud of my kids, but I just want them to know that your dad did something, he learned something new, and I want them to do the same thing. I don't want them to ever hear, I don't like learning, I don't want to learn something new, or I can't do this. So they're my motivation. My family's always going to be motivating, but mainly my kids are my motivation.
That is wow. I'm moved by the thoughts. These are some words that I to live by, and I'm going to keep them in my mind always. It's absolutely inspirational. You're totally amazing. So you just told us what you want to pass to your this is the learning. This is the one learning that you think that you want to pass on to the youngsters and everything. So what is that you're planning for the coming journey, and what is the next thing that you want to do?
Oh, I'm learning about Azure. I love AI. I love things like that. I love data. I absolutely love data. Data's around us. I hated maths. I absolutely hate maths. But the more I learn, I'm like, wow, apps is great. Building apps is amazing, but
Yes.
the whole point of building apps sometimes is to generate data, right? So
Hmm.
I'm more towards the data, more towards the Azure. I see Azure being the backbone of a lot of things, and
Yeah.
I love the whole Azure AI thing as well. And what can you do with data? And that's my passion. Is okay. We've got all this data, and Heathrow has loads of data. I just want to know where can data go, and I get inspired by that all the time. So for me, the journey is just to learn about Azure from the beginning. And I love asking questions. So I do apologize for anyone else if I do reach out to you guys and ask you about
Yeah.
loads of questions about Azure. But I love Azure. I think there's so much potential out there. And you don't have to be technical. Again, everyone started somewhere. So why not start from the beginning? And that's what I'm going to
Yes.
do. And I'm learning from companies. So when I'm saying, for me, the best way to learn is what have other organizations done with Azure.
Yeah.
And so for me, my journey at the moment is, I learned about the Power Platform. And I'm carrying on learning, but for me is to see what I can bring the Azure platform into where I'm doing now, and just learn that. And I'm not a good planner. I'm not, even if you ask my wife, I'm not a very good organizer. So I'm not thinking 5 or 10 years ahead. I'm thinking about how do I make the present great?
Next one.
What have I done?
Yeah.
What have I done today that fulfills me? That could help me tomorrow. So tomorrow, I learn about Azure or platform, and it's gonna help me every single day. And I think, and what I'm learning through my journey, and I hope you do, is that things will happen and organically happen when you learn, when you keep on moving and learning. And I don't know what the future plan is, but for me at the moment, it's just I'm just going to learn about Azure and see where that
Great.
takes me. But yeah, that's
Great.
it.
That's a very good plan, I would say. And it itself is a plan to actually focus on the next thing that you want to do now, rather than thinking about the next 5 years to 10 years. Because I am someone like with the same thing, and I'm not that a good planner in that case about like thinking so much for custody. And so yeah, but thinking about the next move, totally acceptable. I just get it, that feeling. Like what is the thing that you want to tell to the next tech learners or the graduates or the people that were like, personally I am a final year student, so I'll be graduating this June and July, and so thereafter I'll be moving into a company I have got placed. So I really want to know, like, what's your advice for people who are graduating, or the new tech learners who are getting into technology, so, or anything like starting something.
So I've used this method a lot, and it's up to anyone else who wants to use it. But it doesn't matter where you work. It doesn't matter who you work for, or you work for yourself. Just give it your best. Don't wait for the next job to be doing the best work. I was a security officer. I did everything by the book. I did my job was to make passengers safe. But if I wanted to add that bit extra, share ideas or make my passengers smile. The hardest thing to do is when you reject their bags and you take away an expensive bottle or liquids. But how can I turn it around and make them smile and make them happy? So I didn't just wait. I didn't say, oh, I'm a security officer. This is, it's a boring job. You have to find excitement in your job day to day. Doesn't matter where you work for, who you work for. You've got to find a passion to love it, kind of thing. Don't just do it for the money. Just say, when you graduate and you work for a company that you really love, but the job they give you is not what you're looking for the next 5 years or 10 years. But how are you going to make that job great now? What personality, what kind of part of you are going to put into that job, into it, and make it great, kind of thing. And that's why I say to anyone is just that don't think that, okay, I want to do this, and then when I get to here, I'm going to my best work is going to be. Wherever you are now, do your best work then.
Yeah.
That's what's going to help you more. And I do that. I try to do that every single day. I come up with ideas. I write down my top 5 ideas I'm going to bring into the work and say, this is what I want to do. And it's great. It might not be great, but just bring your full self into anything that you do.
Yeah.
Just because some days you just have one of those down day. But when you come to any organization, just give it your best and be you. Don't try to be anybody else or compare yourself with anybody else. If you're gonna compare yourself to anybody else, just think like, I would like to learn from that person.
Yeah.
I want to aspire to. I've got loads of people that I compare to, but I only compare to aspire as well. And I've got so many people that I aspire to, and I don't compare that. Oh no, that person's there, I'm here. It inspires me to be like the who they are. It's where I'd like to be one day. It's great. And like I said, you could I said just learn, just keep learning. That's if put it more shortly, just keep learning. Wherever you go, never stop learning. Keep the passion flowing. The day you feel like I don't have passion for this, then find something else to be passionate about. And you might not be, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid that if the passion is not the thing that you'll be learning for, then that's not a problem either. Because that passion, the thing that you find new, will take you even further than the one that you trained for. And that's it. That's the only advice I can help you. One of them helps, and then that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have this small round called Bamboozled Questions. So we expect answers from you in one word or a line, or however you want to answer them. But just quick questions, like a fire round. So, like the first question is, where would you what will you prefer, or where would you go to refresh your mind of work and everything? So, what's your renovating point of work? Like, what you do for the refreshing? Yeah.
Refreshing, I'll go gym. Gym would be two places were refreshing. So I do it will be gym or the shower.
Okay, perfect. So what's the next big thing that you think is going to impact the world?
Unity.
Yeah.
I think if you're talking about impact the world, we need more humanity and more unity.
Yes.
I would say we need more of that, and that would be a big impact for itself. We need more unity. It doesn't matter what country you are or what background you is. If you can bring unity into it, then that will be the biggest impact. So we need it more than ever before.
Okay. So which game is your favorite one? Are you into gaming?
Oh, I love gaming. I love gaming, but the one that I think probably I'll play for hours is Monopoly. I think Monopoly is one of the games that can unite people and break people.
Yeah.
but it's a fun game that lasts for hours and hours and hours, and I think Monopoly is brilliant.
So what's the sort of music that you like the most? Something that suits your mind?
So the music?
Yeah, sort of music that you like.
I love I like all kind of music, from rock music to indie music to Bollywood music. It's got to be. You see, I'm not into any genre. It's the lyrics are good and the tune's good. It could be rock music, and I like a lot of rock music, but I like classical music as well. And there's sometimes there's time when there's some Bollywood music that I like and it's catchy, but like I said, it's not just one genre. I like all types. That's something that sounds really good. I've been listening to a lot of old. I like the year 2000. I don't know why, but the year 2000 music has always appealed to me. At the moment, I'm listening to Limp Bizkit, My Generation, or My Way.
Oh, nice! That's really cool. That's really cool. So, like which one's your current favorite song right now?
At the moment, I'm feeling Linkin Park.
Oh, nice! That
I love the
is
album.
an amazing song.
Linkin Park it brings. Do you know what? The reason, it's a good question that you brought about music. Music is like time traveling. It's like when you listen to a certain music at a certain time and you listen to it again 10, 15 years later, it brings back those memories, right? So
Definitely.
I go back to the year 2000 where there's good music, lots of good music then. Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Papa Roach, but but that's Linkin Park's album.
You're like I'm not sure, but like the name kind of says that you're an Indian. Like I don't know, like the bases are from India.
Yes, that's from Delhi. Mom's from Amritsar. So
oh, that's great.
I I'm a foodie, so it doesn't matter if I'm in England or India. I love papri chaat and aloo tikki.
Yeah,
They're my favorites, you know.
that's
Uh,
great.
but,
So
but
you
yeah,
must be knowing Hindi and Punjabi and everything.
oh yeah. I love my. Well, these days there's not many good Bollywood movies, but I used to love Bollywood movies. I like the classicals, and I like the ones. Yeah, I understand it really well. DK, so.
Great. So yeah, I hope I was not extra interruptive over this one. I hope I'm not. That's like what. And yeah, I guess we are done with the questions here. So how was your experience at Dev2Be? So,
Oh, I loved it. No, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to come on and talk. But I like the question.